All right, this is Ryan from Clovis Star News. It's the 15th of November 2016. So, the election thing is settling in the United States, and we're so removed from it that, it's almost not even a bother to me. But people on my Facebook page have accused me of voting for Trump. Like, oh, you would vote for Trump um, and pretend that there's only two choices and blah, blah. I'm like, dude, listen. I've been against Trump because I think he's in Hillary's back pocket. I have said that the whole way through, ever since last July of 2015, that I believe that Trump is Hillary's wingman. I mean, they go back as friends 4 decades nearly, at least 35 years. Look on the internet of Trump and Hillary, and you'll see pictures of them chumming it up together. He funded her campaigns. She went to his wedding, whatever. Would Trump be my choice? Absolutely not. Do I support conservative ideals? I do. Do I think that Trump supports conservative ideas? All I know is that's what he's been saying. However, he used to be pro-abortion. He used to be a Democrat. So I have said all along, for 18 months, more than 18 months, that I don't trust him. I don't want to elect a progressive, a liberal, or a Democrat to office based on their track record. But you want to put it into perspective. I have leaned that direction in my life, probably for a good portion of my life. I was in favor of voting for Ralph Nader. My wife and I supported liberal candidates in 2008 and 2004. I supported Ralph Nader. My wife supported Mike Gravel. So there's a Green Party and a Democrat that we supported for president. I supported Ralph Nader for almost 12 years, from 2000 until nearly 2012. Before I started supporting Ron Paul. So I'm not just party line guy, but after all of the failures of the Democrats and the liberals and the progressives, out of all of the definitely evil ideals that they've got, where they spend and then they tax, and they spend and they tax. Instead of just reducing spending, they find new ways to steal money from people. Or, they support horrible policies like abortion, late term abortion, the day before abortion, day before birth abortions. They support, arming so-called rebels, which means American bombs are hitting innocent civilians all over the world. They may not be U.S. soldiers, but they're U.S. weapons. They support these drone strikes, overthrowing Libya, overthrowing Syria, all these other, horrible tactics. They support carbon taxes, which are idiotic, totally idiotic. I totally acknowledge climate change. I just know the facts, and that humans only contribute 0.2% of greenhouse gases. And that's a fact. You can look it up. I've posted it before. I'll post a link to it in this video when I get around to it. There's credible research for that. And, nonetheless, they find new ways to garner money for whatever bullshit they're, trying to garner money for. NASA's released a lot of research recently showing the polar ice caps growing by 650 million tons or something like that of new ice. All these different, studies are showing that, yeah, the climate changes, but it gets cool, it gets hot, it gets cool, it gets hot. And, the cooling effect affects the heating effect, and the heating effect affects the cooling effect. And it's a cycle. And it's always happened long before humans ever existed. Then you've got these, all these regulations and all these new government offices and all these new, bureaucracies and bureaucrats that the government, or that the Democrats and the liberals and the progressives want to install. And that costs not only money, but it's wasted efforts, and it makes tyranny abundant. And so those things I disagree with. There's just so much that I disagree with that, and Obama was supposed to be the legalized president. Instead, he became the guy that indicted more medical marijuana patients than George Bush by 6,100%. Oh, you're fine, honey. Jump on in. Anyway, I got to wrap this up. We're on our way out. hanging out in beautiful Puerto Rico. Just sailing around the Caribbean and figuring it out. We may end up in the U.S. We may end up in Europe. We don't know yet. But all I know is that U.S. politics are crazy. I think the system is rigged. And I'll tell you right now, I was not a Donald Trump supporter, and I don't expect him to keep his promises. And I have said that he's a liar and a cohort of Hillary from day one. Now, if he proves me right, well, whatever. That shows me that maybe I don't want to come back. But I kept my word. All these liberals that said they're going to leave the United States and never come back, well, they're still in there. They're still in the United States. They found out, all right, honey, that it's not so easy to immigrate to different places.
They have closed borders. Imagine that.
Yeah. I mean, try to go to Europe and any of the European countries. You got to go through a strict vetting purpose of getting a visa. You have to go through all of the progress of, proving yourself. And that's not the same in the United States. It's far less difficult to get into the United States. And, we're just trying to raise, at least the conservatives are trying to raise the bar up to what other nations require. Try to go to Uruguay. Try to go to any South American country. Try to go to Europe. Try to go to an Asian country. It's the same way. America has practically open borders. So I'm not in disagreement with what Trump's saying about reducing immigration. If we're going to believe in some sort of a nation state and, people are going to pay taxes and those taxes are going to go to benefit the people who have paid the taxes, things like that. We got to have a strict border policy. Otherwise, kill taxes, kill handouts and benefits, and wipe all that slate clean, and then I don't care about open borders. But if I'm going to pay taxes, I want those taxes to go to benefit me and my kin rather than illegal immigrants that are abusing the system. That's all I'm saying. Peace.